Hi, my name is Karen, and I'm an American lay student of Ajahn Suchat, or Pra Ajahn Suchat Abhijato, who has given me the very special honor of being asked by him to record this book for you. This book was written by Pra Ajahn Suchat's own teacher, the Venerable Acariya Maha Boowa Nanasampanno, and is a spiritual biography written by him about his teacher, the Venerable Acariya Mun Buddhadatta Thera. The title of the book is Venerable Acariya Mun Buddhadatta Thera, a spiritual biography by Acariya Mahabhuwa Nanasampanno, and it was published in 2005, translated into English by Bhikkhu Dick Silaratano. If you would like to learn how to download or get a hard copy of this book, or a list of which pages or chapters are read on each separate recording, please listen to the beginning of the first recording of this book. This book, in any form, is to be given away for free. Any ads you may see or hear in this recording have been put there by the platform you are using to listen or view with, for its own revenue, in exchange for letting us use their platform for free. Please forgive me for any mispronunciations of names, places, or words, as I'm still learning how to pronounce Thai and Pali, and for any background noises, as I'm just making these recordings in my apartment with an unruly dog and in the middle of a city. And we're continuing today on page 42. We are in Chapter 1, and we're starting a new section in Chapter 1 titled The Sawaka Arahants. Living in Sarika Cave, Acariya Mun was occasionally visited by Sawaka Arahants, who appeared to him by means of Samadhi Nimitta. Each Sawaka Arahant delivered for his benefit a discourse on Dhamma, elucidating the traditional practices of the noble ones. Here is the substance of what was expressed. Walking meditation must be practiced in a calm, self-composed manner. Use mindfulness to focus your attention directly on the task you have set for yourself. If you're investigating the nature of the khandhas or the conditions of the body, or simply concentrating on a specific Dhamma theme, then make sure mindfulness is firmly fixed on that object. Don't allow your attention to drift elsewhere. Such negligence is characteristic of one having no solid spiritual basis to anchor him, and thus lacking a reliable inner refuge. Mindful awareness should attend each and every movement in all your daily activities. Don't perform these actions as though you are so sound asleep that you have no mindful awareness of how your body tosses about, or how prolifically your sleeping mind dreams. Going on your morning alms round, eating your food, and relieving yourself, in all such basic duties you should adhere strictly to the traditional practices of the Lord Buddha's noble disciples. Never behave as though you lack proper training in the teaching and the discipline. Always conduct yourself in the manner of a true samana, with the calm, peaceful demeanor expected of one who ordains as a disciple of the Lord Buddha. This means maintaining mindfulness and wisdom in every posture as a way of eliminating the poisons buried deep within your heart. Thoroughly investigate all the food you eat. Don't allow those foods that taste good to add poison to your mind. Even though the body may be strengthened by food that's eaten without proper investigation, the mind will be weakened by its damaging effects. By nourishing your body with food that is eaten unmindfully, you will, in effect, be destroying yourself with nourishment that depletes your mental vitality. A samana must never endanger his own well-being or the well-being of others by shamefully accumulating kilesas, for not only do they harm him, but they can easily mushroom and spread harm to others as well. In the view of the Buddha's noble disciples, all mental defilements are to be greatly feared. Utmost care should be taken to ensure that the mind does not neglect to check any outflow of the kilesas, for each one acts like a sheet of fire, destroying everything in its path. The noble Dhamma, practiced by all of the Lord Buddha's noble disciples, emphasizes scrupulous self-discipline at all times and under all conditions, whether walking, standing, sitting, lying down, eating, or relieving oneself, and in all of one's conversations and social interactions. Inattentive, undisciplined behavior is a habit of the kilesas, leading to unwholesome thoughts, and thus perpetuating the cycle of birth and death. Those wishing to escape from the cycle of rebirth should avoid such deplorable habits. They merely lead deeper into the abyss, eventually causing one to become that most undesirable of persons, a wretched samana. No one wishes to partake of wretched food, no one wishes to reside in a wretched house, and no one wishes to dress in wretched clothes or even look at them. Generally, people detest and shun wretched things. How much more so a wretched person with a wretched mind? But the most abhorrent thing in the world is a wretched samana who is ordained as a Buddhist monk. His wretchedness pierces the hearts of good and bad people alike. It pierces the hearts of all devas and brahmas without exception. For this reason, one should strive to be a true samana, exercising extreme care to remain mindful and self-disciplined at all times. Of all the many things that people value and care for in the world, a person's mind is the most precious. In fact, the mind is the foremost treasure in the whole world. So be sure to look after it well. To realize the mind's true nature is to realize Dhamma. Understanding the mind is the same as understanding Dhamma. Once the mind is known, then Dhamma in its entirety is known. Arriving at the truth about one's mind is the attainment of Nibbana. Clearly, the mind is a priceless possession that should never be overlooked. Those who neglect to nurture the special status that the mind has within their bodies will always be born flawed, no matter how many hundreds or thousands of times they are reborn. Once we realize the precious nature of our own minds, we should not be remiss, knowing full well that we are certain to regret it later. Such remorse being avoidable, we should never allow it to occur. Human beings are the most intelligent form of life on earth. As such, they should not wallow in ignorance. Otherwise, they will live an insufferably wretched existence, never finding any measure of happiness. The manner in which a true samana conducts all his affairs, both temporal and spiritual, sets a trustworthy example to be followed by the rest of the world. He engages in work that is pure and blameless. His actions are both righteous and dispassionate. So endeavor to cultivate within yourself the exemplary work of a samana, making it flourish steadily, so that wherever you go, your practice will always prosper accordingly. A samana who cherishes moral virtue, cherishes concentration, cherishes mindfulness, cherishes wisdom, and cherishes diligent effort, is sure to achieve that exalted status of a full-fledged samana now, and to maintain it in the future. The teaching that I give you is the dispensation of a man of diligence and perseverance, a spiritual warrior who emerged victorious, a preeminent individual who completely transcended dukkha, freeing himself of all fetters. He attained absolute freedom, becoming the Lord Buddha, the supreme guide and teacher of the three worlds of existence. If you can understand the special value this teaching holds for you, before long, you too will have rid yourself of kilesas. I entrust this Dhamma teaching to you in the hope that you will give it the most careful consideration. In that way, you will experience incredible wonders arising within your mind, which by its very nature is a superb and wonderful thing. A Sawaka Arahant, having delivered such a discourse and departed, Acariya Mun humbly received that Dhamma teaching. He carefully contemplated every aspect of it, isolating each individual point, and then thoroughly analyzed them all, one by one. As more and more Sawaka Arahants came to teach him in this way, he gained many new insights into the practice just by listening to their expositions. Hearing their wonderful discourses increased his enthusiasm for meditation, thus greatly enhancing his understanding of Dhamma. Acariya Mun said that listening to a discourse delivered by one of the Buddha's Arahant disciples made him feel as if he was in the presence of the Lord Buddha himself, though he had no prior recollection of meeting the Buddha. Listening intently, his heart completely full, he became so absorbed in Dhamma that the entire physical world, including his own body, ceased to exist for him then. The citta alone existed, its awareness shining brightly with the radiance of Dhamma. It was only later, when he withdrew from that state, that he realized the oppressive burden he still carried with him, for he became conscious again of his physical body, the focal point where the other four khandhas come together, each one a heavy mass of suffering on its own. During his lengthy sojourn at Sarika Cave, Acariya Mun entertained many Sawaka Arahants and heeded their words of advice, making this cave unique among all the places where he had ever stayed. While living there, the Dhamma of unimpeachable certainty arose in his heart. That is, he attained the fruition of Anagami. According to Buddhist scripture, the Anagami has abandoned the 5 lower fetters that bind living beings to the round of repeated existence: Sakaya Ditti, Vicikiccha, Sila Bhatta Paramasa, Kama Raga, and Patika. Someone reaching this level of attainment is assured of never being reborn in the human realm, or in any other realm of existence where bodies are composed of the 4 gross physical elements: earth, water, fire, and air. Should that individual fail to ascend to the level of Arahant before dying, at the moment of death he will be reborn into one of the 5 pure abodes of the Brahma world. An Anagami is reborn in the above of Aviha, Atapa, Sudasa, Sudasi, or Akanita, depending on the individual's level of advancement along the Arahant path. Acariya Mun revealed that he attained the stage of Anagami in Sarika Cave exclusively to his close disciples, but I have decided to declare it publicly here for the reader's consideration. Should this disclosure be considered in any way inappropriate, I deserve the blame for not being more circumspect. One night, having continued to practice peacefully for many months, Acariya Mun experienced an unusually strong feeling of compassion for his fellow monks. By that time, amazing insights surfaced nightly in his meditation practice. He became keenly aware of many strange, wonderful things he had never dreamed of seeing in his life. On the night that he thought about his fellow monks, his meditation had an exceptionally unusual quality to it. His citta had attained an especially ethereal refinement in samadhi, resulting in many extraordinary insights. Fully realizing the harmful effects that his own past ignorance had caused him, he was moved to tears. At the same time, he understood the value of the effort he had struggled so diligently to maintain until he could reap the amazing fruits of that diligence. A deep appreciation for the Lord Buddha's supreme importance arose in his heart, for it was he who compassionately proclaimed the Dhamma so that others could follow in his footsteps. thus allowing them to understand the complex nature of their own karma, and that of all other living beings as well. Thus the vital significance of the Dhamma verse: all beings are born of their karma, and karma is their one true possession, which succinctly sums up practically all the Buddha's teachings. Those insights notwithstanding, Acariya Mun continued to remind himself that despite their truly amazing character, he had yet to reach the end of the path and the cessation of dukkha. To accomplish that, he would need to pour all his energy into the practice, with unstinting resolve. In the meantime, he was pleased to see that the chronic stomach ailment, which he had suffered so long, was now completely cured. More than that, his mind was now firmly anchored to a solid spiritual basis. Although he had yet to totally eradicate his kilesas, he was sure of being on the right path. His meditation practice, now progressing smoothly, had none of the fluctuations he had experienced earlier. Unlike in the past, when he was groping in the dark, feeling his way along, he now felt certain of the path leading to the highest Dhamma. He was absolutely convinced that one day he would transcend dukkha. His mindfulness and wisdom had reached a stage where they worked ceaselessly in perfect concert. He never needed to urge them into action. Day and night, knowledge and understanding arose continuously, both internal spiritual insights and awareness of countless external phenomena. The more his mind delighted in such amazing Dhamma, the more compassion he felt for his fellow monks. He was eager to share with them these wondrous insights. In the end, this profound feeling of compassion precipitated his departure from that auspicious cave. With some reluctance, he eventually left to search out the Dhatanga monks he had known previously when he was living in the northeast. Several days prior to his departure from Sarika Cave, a group of terrestrial devas, led by the mysterious being he first encountered there, came to hear a discourse on Dhamma. After finishing his discourse, Acariya Mun informed them of his decision, saying he would soon take leave of them. Unwilling to see him depart, the large company of devas who were gathered there beseeched him to stay on for the sake of their long-term happiness and prosperity. Acariya Mun explained that just as he had come to that cave for a reason, so too he had a reason for moving on. He didn't come and go slavishly, following his desires. Asking for their understanding, he cautioned them against feeling disappointed. He promised that if the opportunity presented itself in the future, he would return. The devas expressed their sincere regrets, showing the genuine affection and respect for him they'd always felt. At about 10 p.m. on the night before his departure, Acariya Mun thought of Chao Kun Upali at Wat Boromaniwat Monastery, wondering what was on his mind. So he focused his citta and sent the flow of his consciousness out to observe him. He found that Chao Kun Upali was at that moment contemplating avijja in relation to paticca samuppada. Acariya Mun took note of the time and the date. When eventually he arrived in Bangkok, he asked Chao Kun Upali about what he'd observed. With a hearty laugh, Chao Kun Upali immediately acknowledged it to be true, saying this in praise of Acariya Mun. "You are truly masterful. I myself am a respected teacher, yet I'm inept compared to you, and I feel embarrassed. You truly are a master. This is exactly how a genuine disciple of the Lord Buddha follows in the steps of the Supreme Teacher. We can't all be incompetent in the practice of the Lord Buddha's teaching. Somebody has to maintain this exalted Dhamma in the spirit that it was originally taught. By not allowing the modern age we live in to foster a lazy, defeatist attitude toward the highest attainments, you have demonstrated the timeless quality of the Buddha's teaching. Otherwise, the true Dhamma will no longer arise in the world, despite the fact that the Buddha proclaimed it for the benefit of all mankind. The special knowledge you just displayed to me is most admirable. This is the way the Lord's teaching should be developed and put into practice." Acariya Mun stated that Chow Kunapali had the utmost admiration and respect for him. There were certain occasions when he sent for Acariya Mun to help him solve certain problems he was unable to resolve to his own satisfaction. Eventually, when the time was right, Acariya Mun left Bangkok and returned directly to the northeast. And we're going to go ahead and end there today on page 48. We'll resume on that page, on page 48 in the next recording. We are still in chapter 1, and we are in the final section of chapter 1 titled Sawaka Arahants, which we'll probably finish next time and then move on to chapter 2. Until next time, with Metta, bye-bye.